Hello and welcome back to Star Wars: A Living Set. Will, good to see you again.
Good to see you.
Yes, I am wearing the Vikings jersey again. I know it feels like I've been wearing the same shirt like the last 4 episodes, but for some reason they keep winning. I'm going to keep wearing it. That's just how it's going to work for right now. So we got 4 new cards coming at you this week, including some pretty big characters, kind of some offshoot characters, but definitely excited. So the first card that we're going to come at you with today is card number 83, Boba Fett from Empire Strikes Back. Now, Boba Fett, when we first see him on screen, that's the first time we ever see him, of course, is in Empire Strikes Back. Little did we know that actually Boba Fett had made a couple appearances prior to Empire Strikes Back. Did you know that?
He had, yes.
Did you realize that his first appearance was in 1978 in the San Anselmo County Fair Parade?
So you're telling me that Boba Fett,
Yep.
the guy that we first met in Empire Strikes Back,
Yep.
had like 3 lines.
Yep.
We first saw it a year after A New Hope came out.
He apparently was in a parade.
Wow.
Yep, so we'll put a little picture up here on this one. It's kind of funny to think about it, about how it looks like a guy in a pair of sweatpants walking down the road.
Yeah.
And then Boba Fett's second appearance was not Empire Strikes Back. It was in a cartoon holiday special. Again, pretty interesting. Got a picture of that one up there for you as well. First off, we're going to go through some stats. They made 1,913. That's a lot of these, right? Pretty popular character. 121 have been graded, 69 PSA 10, and 48 PSA 9s. Now, back in the holiday special, it was voiced by a guy named Don Franks. And then, of course, he comes to life in Empire Strikes Back. All of a sudden, there's these bounty hunters there, and here's Boba Fett. Right? Pretty interesting, right? Pretty cool because, of course, the whole Star Wars universe kind of fell in love with Boba Fett at that point. There's all these, we had this, it was the second movie. It was really exciting. Who are these bounty hunters? He's got this really cool ship. He chases after Han. He
Super
interacts
cool armor that we had never seen before or anything like that.
Yeah, nothing like that before, right? It was interesting because apparently George Lucas had originally created Boba Fett as like an Imperial super commando, which he kind of is now, but not really there. Kind of reminiscent of like a gunslinger and a Western. And some of the ideas that apparently George Lucas had was that Lando and Boba Fett would have a battle, which, spoiler alert, they kind of do. Another idea was that Vader and Fett would be brothers.
Which would be very strange.
Very strange, right?
Yeah.
And interestingly, George Lucas said if he had known that Boba Fett had been this popular, he would have made his death more exciting. So again, you think about very small window in Empire Strikes Back, and then, of course, comes back in Return of the Jedi, gets hit in the back with a stick, flies, goes into, ends up down in the pit, and then we don't see him ever again.
Yeah, I think I was watching a video once and it said he had like 5-6 minutes of screen time in both those movies. So we really never saw him.
Yeah.
But immediately people fell in love with him, loved the story, loved everything about him.
Yeah, and of course now, again, spoiler alert, it's a huge character.
Humongous.
In Mando, in the Book of Boba Fett. Of course, if you go back to the Clone Wars, or not Clone Wars, but Attack of the Clones, that's where we kind of learned Boba Fett's backstory. So a character that had a very small part became very, very popular. A couple other stats real quick on Boba Fett. Apparently, IGN rated it the 8th top Star Wars character of all time, which is interesting. There's also a very rare toy that was originally made, and it actually had a firing rocket. Now, that one actually can go for over $200,000. Now, of course, they had to ban that toy because apparently some kid got hit in the eye and it was bad. But again, Boba Fett Empire Strikes Back, pretty cool. We're sticking to just the Empire Strikes Back version because, of course, there's other Boba Fett cards we'll talk about later. But definitely a cool card. Anything else on Boba Fett from Empire Strikes Back for us?
I don't think so.
All right. Card number 84, Tauntaun, also from Empire Strikes Back. Now, again, I'm a huge fan of when both the cards for that week are from the same show. I love that part. For these, they made 1,190, 28 PSA graded, 24 PSA 10s, and 4 PSA 9s as of now. Now, of course, we see this creature. They're native to Hoth. Did you know that the young Tauntauns are called Tauntlets?
I did not.
It was on the internet, so again, it must be true. Now, when they made the Tauntauns, of course, at the beginning of Empire Strikes Back, when we first see them, they made they were puppets, they were stop motion, and they had to make a full-size one so the characters could actually kind of ride it.
Right. Yeah.
Yep, which is pretty cool. And of course, one of the most famous lines from Empire Strikes Back, Han Solo says, "I thought they smelled bad on the inside." Or on the outside.
On the outside.
I got that one wrong.
And then he cuts it open.
Cuts it open, yes, exactly.
I thought they smelled bad on the outside.
Right. We are going to put a link in our description to a YouTube about how they actually made the Tauntauns and what they did for them. So pretty interesting creature. We don't see them, I don't think, ever again. Do we in other things?
I don't think so. I mean, a few times in like random like Lego shows or like other Star Wars canon things. But
Yep.
I don't think we ever see him again in the actual movies.
Got it. Yeah, definitely not in movies that I'm aware of.
Yeah, no.
Probably some sort of cartoons or some sort
Yeah.
of other books or things like that.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to go on to card number 85. We're going to kick it over to you for one of your favorites, Kuill from Mando. Tell us about Kuill.
So Kuill, or as many people know him, the guy who just goes, "I have spoken," which he says a lot.
It's kind of an interesting Kuill impersonation there.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, so Kuill from Mando, the Ugnaught. First, we're going to stats. So they made 1,068. 20 have been graded. 17 10s and 3 9s. The voice is
Nick Nolte.
Nick Nolte.
Now, you have no idea who Nick Nolte is.
No idea.
Nick Nolte, of course, for those of you who are about my age or around the same age, was a very, very popular actor in the 70s and 80s and even early 90s. Interesting fact, he actually tried out to be Han Solo for the Star Wars movies. I would have never guessed that voice, but now that I know it's his voice, whenever I see Kuill, all I can think of is Nick Nolte. Now, did Nick Nolte play him as well?
Wait. No, so Nick Nolte was just the voice.
Got it. Okay.
So it was just the voice.
Yep.
So he was mostly
He was portrayed.
Oh yeah, he was portrayed by Misty Roses.
Misty Rojas, I believe.
Rojas.
Yep, and she apparently wore a mask, and the mask had a bunch of animatronics and like other things to kind of make his face do all the different. Because he's a very active face, like all the different different ways he can kind of have different emotions. We'll say through his face.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or the mask.
Yep.
The face or the mask was brought to light by puppeteers and
Animatronics. Yep, like little machines in there. Yep. Okay.
The race of Kuill is obviously the Ugnaughts.
Yep.
Which we first see in Empire Strikes Back on Cloud City.
Yep.
We see them working in the little shops, and then when she was trying to get C-3PO back, they're all like, "No, don't take him!" But they say it in Ugnaughts. I don't know.
I don't know if that's the correct way, but
I don't know
fine.
if that's the exact language, but they say it in their language. And,
Yep.
Yeah. So
And then we also see him, of course, around when he gets frozen in carbonite. They're the ones who are kind of working there. So, yep. Okay.
We'll see them a few other times in other shows and stuff.
Yep.
But, yeah.
Yep. When's the first time we see him in Mando?
The first time we see him in Mando was in Chapter 1
Yep.
with the Blurgs.
Yeah,
That's when we first see him.
because Mando goes to try to find the child.
Yep.
And he goes and he said he has to ride Blurg. And he says, I believe Mando says, I don't ride Blurg. And he ends up riding Blurg, which is pretty cool. Yep. Okay.
Apparently it was tough to do the scenes when Kuill was carrying the child.
Yeah.
In Chapter 7, I think it was.
Yeah, or that time or even other times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whenever he was holding Grogu or the child, it was kind of probably hard to do.
Yep.
Because animatronics, things like that.
Well, trying to hold the child, plus the mask was pretty heavy, is what it says, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Also interesting, they actually recorded Nick Nolte did all the voice stuff before they even filmed it. So they actually had to kind of then try to match up the facial expressions, the lips, the movement with what Nick Nolte had already recorded, which I thought was interesting.
Interesting.
Yep.
And very sadly, he then dies in Chapter 7, The Reckoning.
Spoiler alert.
Very sad.
Yeah, interesting. Kuill's such an interesting character because he's kind of one of the few people that Mando trusts.
Yep.
Learns to really get along with them, and it also Kuill gives us a really interesting backstory about the Ugnaughts. Right? You think of the Ugnaughts from the movies, and they're working for the Empire, but Kuill shares that he was actually a slave of the Empire, and they didn't want to be working for the Empire, but that's just kind of how it was. So I thought it was a very interesting character. I really liked it a lot.
Yeah.
Good. Anything else on Kuill?
I don't think so.
All right, our last card of the week, 86, Elite Praetorian Guard from Last Jedi.
So these guys, most of you probably won't know what they are, but basically when Rey and Kylo are fighting Snoke and all of the red guys,
Yep.
they're the red guys. That's basically what they are.
Okay.
First one to stats, they made 1,038. 23 have been graded, 20 10s and 3 9s. All the Praetorian Guards, or Elite Praetorian Guards, whichever one, were played by 8 different stuntmen, which kind of makes sense because they had to do all these fight things.
Yeah, that was really cool, I thought.
Yeah.
It wasn't like it was just, like one person who got cloned, but they had 8 different stuntmen playing these. Because if you remember, they all had different weapons, they had different styles, they had a huge battle. I thought it was pretty cool.
That's probably one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah, definitely. Yep.
Designed to move more samurai-like, which makes sense because they kind of had like that almost like samurai look.
Yep.
Like the masks and also like the weapons.
Yep.
Really cool. And then they compared them to the formal Imperial Guards.
So if you remember the last time, or one of the first times we saw the Imperial Guards, Return of the Jedi, the Emperor's there, and you see the guys in the full red getup, and all they're very stiff, holding their sticks.
They stood there.
They just stood there.
Yeah.
And I think the only time they ever really move is when the Emperor says, "Guards, leave us," and then they slowly take their sticks and they walk away.
That's the only
And
time.
that's it, right? And these guys are definitely different, right?
Very different.
Okay.
They were named after the real-life Praetorian Guards who guarded the Roman emperors.
Yep, which was pretty
in
cool.
Roman times.
Yep.
They are seen on Snoke's flagship. Supremacy is what the ship is called.
Yep.
And they were all killed by Kylo Ren and Rey.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Yep. So again, I thought they were pretty cool characters. Kind of bummed they didn't hang around for longer.
Yeah,
right?
They were super cool.
It was definitely a good battle. I mean, that was definitely a cool scene. I loved how they had different weapons and different styles. Definitely a cool one.
And also like how like their weapons like morph, like they start off with like staffs and they could like split it.
Yep.
And then one did like a little like whippy thing, whatever.
Yep.
Yeah. It was
Definitely cool. Definitely cool. All right. Well, again, 4 great cards for you for this week. We are getting close to card number 100. We're pretty excited. We're going to do a special episode for card number 100, or for once we get there to kind of talk about a few other things with the set, right? Yeah. So if you want to learn more about the set, tops.com. Every single Tuesday, there's 2 new cards that come out every single week.
Yep.
Again, at this point, all the artwork is being done by Chris Penix. So again, shout out to Chris Penix, doing amazing work. Last thing, as always, what is your favorite artwork of these 4 cards? Favorite artwork?
It's really hard to choose because they're all so good.
Yep. I'm going to go Kuill because I love the expressions that we get from Kuill on this card. I thought Chris did a great job with that one.
I'm either going to say Kuill or Praetorian Guard.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. So again, good job, Chris. Apparently we're torn on this one. Thanks, guys. Again, if you like our show, let us know. Otherwise, we'll see you guys soon.
Bye.